I think art, creativity, I think it makes life good. I mean, I think it makes it worth living. And so I like to celebrate people that are doing interesting things, filmmakers, writers, actors. It's brought so much joy to my life, and it's never felt like, ugh, I got to do that again, you know? Hi, I'm Dennis Hensley, and you're entering A World Gone Good.
Well, hello, my name is Steve, and you've showed up to get your good on, so good on you. This is World Gone Good, the podcast where we shine the light into the darkness and or find the light in the darkness to prove this here planet doesn't suck as much as cable news tells us it does, basically 24/7. Look, if you share our enthusiasm for good things, why not help us spread this here good thing you're listening to right now? How to do that? Here's how. Simply share our show. How hard is that? Not hard at all. Share us with your friends on social media and subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you are listening right now. And by golly, the good will keep a-flowing. You can also find all your good in one place, worldgonegoodpodcast.com. It's our website, and it's run by my best pal, Lisa, and she would love for you to check out her handiwork, and so would I. Visit worldgonegoodpodcast.com. So I grew up in what I feel is the greatest decade there ever was, the 1970s. Why do I feel this way? Well, because we had good things. We had banana seat bicycles and Jiffy Pop popcorn and the $6 Million Man and the Bionic Woman and Farrah. We had Jaws and Star Wars. We had the grooviest fashion that began all post-60s mod and sort of turned flower child and then morphed into the disco look. And we had game shows on in the middle of the day. From Password to Match Game to The Price is Right, we knew how to get our good game on. And my guest today is all about it, all of it. Dennis Hensley is a published author, radio host, writer, producer, and he is the spark behind the MisMatch Game, the live game show that just passed raising $200,000 for the Gay and Lesbian Center of Los Angeles. How good is that? He's also a good friend of mine, and this is how he gets his good game on. Dennis Hensley, we have known each other for a long time.
Yeah, decade maybe.
Yeah, we share something in common, you and I, which is we have a love of the 1970s.
Oh, for sure. I love the 1970s. They're the best.
Why? What's good about the 1970s?
Well, I think it was when I was sort of just under puberty, so everything about it seemed sort of exciting, like the fashions, and I love the films of the 1970s. But I remember just like the music, and I started buying records during the 1970s, and I loved, disco clothes and dolphin shorts, and like all of the things that I think are sexy on guys were probably from that era, and I'm kind of still stuck there. That's why I'm very excited when, gay guys decide to wear short shorts again. Like sometimes I'll be sitting outside of a gym or whatever. Like I was in front of Crunch the other day waiting to go for a movie, and the parade was starting, and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot about the Crunch Boy parade. But the shorts are really high this season.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and occasionally accompanied by a tube sock. Like they'll go for the full look.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's good news. But yeah, I love the 70s, and I go back and I watch the films of the 70s, and I love it. Saturday Night Fever is one of my very favorite movies. And I liked it because if you look back at the films and stuff, they were about grown-up stuff. Like, they were not... It was like young people trying to enter the world of grown-ups, not grown-ups trying to stay young. We wanted to do grown-up things, whereas now, I think the culture with like superhero movies and everything, it's like we're trying to be kids forever. Back then, it felt like I can't wait to get in the van with Tommy Bradford and go pick up some people and do some stuff that grown-ups do in a van.
Solve a murder.
Yeah, solve a murder and still make it to the mall. Yeah, before the Orange Julius closes. But yeah, I love all that stuff.
Now, you connected to TV game shows.
I did. I loved game shows when they were on. That was the best thing about being sick.
Right.
If you ever had to stay home sick from school, you could watch all the game shows you wanted. It was the best. Yeah, I loved them all.
Did you have a favorite?
I really loved Pyramid, especially now as an adult. It's my favorite. And I really wanted to be on it, and I came very close. But as I was about to tape an episode, the executive producer walked into the contestant holding area. I hadn't met this person yet. And it turns out that it was somebody that I had known a little bit, like I'd gone on a couple of dates with. And so I was immediately disqualified.
Oh,
it was heartbreaking, Steve. I can't even tell you. It was my destiny to be on that show. I would have crushed. And this guy that was disappointing when we kind of had our date ended up like being the reason I couldn't do Pyramid.
He pyramid blocked you.
He totally pyramid blocked me. Yes. And he was a jerk as a date person too. I think he blew me off a few times. Like, it was nothing that got off the ground, but yeah. So that was heartbreaking.
He should have at least given you $10,000 on the date.
For sure. At least I could have gotten some Rice-A-Roni or something.
Something, right?
But
Turtle Wax.
I didn't know he worked on Pyramid, but he was like the head person.
Are there any other game shows you have been on?
I've been on 2 game shows that are not very well known. One was called Jumble, where it was like the scrambled word game from the newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
And one was called That's the Question. And that was on like the Game Show Network. And I won both. I won $5,000 on That's the Question. And the other one, I won a trip to New Orleans.
Okay. Question. Okay, we have so many questions. And this is going to, don't worry, this is going to get to the point. We're getting to a point.
That's
you know
right.
The point we're getting to.
Okay,
they give you $5,000. Do they take the taxes out, or do you have to pay the taxes?
You pay the taxes at the end of the year.
Okay.
Yeah, you I think my memory is that I just got $5,000.
And your trip to New Orleans, was that like 5-star? Was it?
I don't think it was like the height of luxury, but it was a nice hotel and airfare. And I took a friend of mine from college, and we had a ball. This was like 1995. Stayed in the French Quarter. It was cool. I was really into it. Yeah, I loved it.
So I auditioned for Supermarket Sweep with my friend Terry.
Right.
And Terry was very excited, and she was like, come on, get into it. So we got to the point where we were narrowed down to a group of like 7 or 8 of us at these little podiums, little fake podiums they had.
Right.
And they had us each go around and introduce ourselves. They said, one of you choose who you're going to be, introduce, and then introduce the other. So Terry's like, I'll start, and then I'll introduce you. And I'm like, okay, great. And my friend Terry, she's like, come on, get energy. I'm like, okay. She's like, we're going to do this. I'm like, okay. And I kid you not, it comes to us and like, okay, team number 7, or we were kind of far down the line. And my friend Terry goes, my name's Terry. I like to drink, and I like to party, and I like to drink. I'm a party girl. And she screamed like, woo! And then she turned to me, she's like, and this is my best friend in the world, which is a total fucking lie. And she goes, Steve. And she looks at me and she's like panting, and I'm staring at her like, what the holy fuck and I look forward and I go, my name's Steve, and I do theater, and I'm happy to be. I'm from Arizona, and I'm happy to be here. Of course, we get nixed. And
well, she became another person.
Oh, for fuck's sake. We're walking in the parking lot, and she's glaring at me, and she goes, you didn't even try. And she's like berating me. We finally hit the car and I turn her and I go, Terry, you just screamed at the top of your lungs, I'm an alcoholic. I like to party. I'm a drug guy. I don't know who you were. And she started laughing really hard. And she's like, did I really sound insane? I go, you sounded crazy.
Wow. Did your friendship survive the supermarket sweep audition?
It did. It did survive it. And we laughed about it for like years to come. Now, you turned your love for game shows into something special, which is kind of why I asked you here today to talk about it, because we talk about good things here. The MisMatch Game.
Yes.
Tell everybody what the MisMatch Game is, when did it start, and what was like the creative spark to get it going?
The MisMatch Game is a game show parody like the old Match Game that I've been doing on stage as a host and producer since 2004 at the LA Gay and Lesbian Center's Renberg Theater, and we do it to raise money for the center, specifically the homeless youth program. And it started in 2000, actually, as my birthday party that year. There was a period of a few years in there where I kind of threw big, elaborate theme parties. And one year I decided to do the Match Game, and I got different friends of mine to play different celebrities. But I remember, like, at the last minute realizing, oh, the questions shouldn't just be pulled from the show. Like, I was transcribing questions from the show, like Dumb Dora is so dumb. And I thought, no, they should be about current pop culture. They should be about what's happening in the news and timely. And so I rewrote all the questions like the day before. And my friends came, and it was just a big hit. People liked it. We had a lot of fun. And a couple years later, some friends wanted to do a benefit for one of the AIDS charities locally. And so we did it. We did the Match Game. We called it Match Game Live, I think, at the time. We did one of them at Oil Can Harry's. And then a couple of years later, I took that idea to the Gay and Lesbian Center. And we tried it out, and we've been doing it ever since, like 2 or 3 weekends a year. And this last weekend that we just finished, we crossed the $200,000 raised mark since we started in 2002 or 2004. So yeah, it was a big landmark moment. We've been doing it ever since. It's very much like the Snatch Game that you will see on RuPaul's Drag Race, although we were doing it like 5 years before Snatch Game came to be. So, but that's the vibe. That's the idea. Yeah, and it's been a blast, and I can't believe how long we've been doing it or how much money we've raised, because I've just laughed every step of the way. It never felt like anything more than something really fun to do.
You are the host. You are the Gene Rayburn.
I am. I don't do a character. I just do myself. So, yeah.
And have you worn the same outfit every single time? And how did you decide on your outfit?
Well, I changed the outfit. I bought like a retro thrift store 70s suit at the beginning.
Uh-huh.
It was kind of brown, like, something that Mike Brady would wear. And I remember one year, I don't know, like 6 or 7 years into it, this ex of mine came up afterwards and said, you need to get a suit that fits you or something. He said something bitchy about my suit. Yeah.
Wow.
I know. I was like, always a charmer. And then, he was right. He was right. The suit didn't look cute. It wasn't fitted or anything. So I went to a vintage clothing store and found something much better. But then that just depends on my weight. If I like that particular suit, it had a few seasons where I rocked it. And now, so I bought things at different times. But this last time I wanted something special. So I went to Iguana Vintage Clothing, and they had all of these they were brand new, but they were retro looking kind of tuxedos. And there was one that looked like something the Jersey Boys would wear, but it matched all of the coloring that we were using for this particular edition of the Match Game. So I bought it and I had it altered. And then when I got to the center, the cultural arts director that I work with, John Imperato, goes, I think that suit, I think that's one of our suits. I was like, what do you mean? Apparently, after Ryan Murphy's The Prom finished shooting, they just showed up with a bunch of clothes at the Gay and Lesbian Center, costumes, to donate. And the center ended up selling some of them to this youth clothing store. So I ended up buying a suit from Ryan Murphy's The Prom. But it was beautiful. It looks so good. It's and it was like the nicest suit I've ever worn for the MisMatch game. It was a big hit, but it turns out it had a history. So, and they still have some there, I think. If anyone listening wants to buy some suit left over from the prom, it makes you feel like a teenager in a Netflix property just by putting it on.
Which is different than a teenager in a 1970s television show.
No, it's totally different, because what you feel like is that the money's unlimited and that you're going to have international reach, but also that it's not going to become iconic. Like that there's money, there's reach, but it's not going to pop the way something would if you had it on your lunchbox in the 70s.
Expectations are medium, not high, right. Not low,
right?
Medium.
Yeah, you're not going to remember it that long after you click off the Netflix of it all, perhaps. But the suit is great. I'm into it.
Tell my audience some of the people who have come and been part of the MisMatch game on stage as performers and who they played and how you decide who they play. I know lots of questions. Go.
Let's see. This last weekend we had Jackie Beat as B. Arthur. We had Mark Samuel from General Hospital as Morgan Freeman. Danny Casillas, who played Reba, his own original character. We had a gal named Laurie Tatuian, does a great Sharon Osbourne. We've had Craig Taggart does a great Bette Midler. We had him. He's only done it a couple of times. Nadia Ginsburg does Cher. Tom Lenk has done multiple characters, but this last weekend he did Tilda Swinton, and he came out in a motion capture green screen suit and pretended he was invisible and that he's doing a lot of motion capture. And it was ridiculous. Let's see. Julie Brown played Queen Elizabeth. Felix Pyre plays Ricardo Montalban. And in terms of how people decide, if they can do somebody and they like to do them, I'm usually pretty cool with it. Like, we don't necessarily need them to be like 70s type people, because it's been so long. Half the audience doesn't know who Brett Summers or some of these people are. So if they have a handle on a character, I usually let them go with it. I think it's a very specific skill to be able to imitate somebody or have a take on somebody that you can bring to life in that way. I think, like, I couldn't do it if I were asked to be on a panel. I don't have a great accent that I do or a character. Like, I could think of witty answers, I think, but I don't think I have that thing. So I'm always in awe of the actors that can create a character in that space. But they really like to do it, I think, over the years, because it's a chance to perform and kind of be funny and do their thing, but it's pretty low risk. It's not just them out there. And if an answer bombs, it's on to the next answer. They make a joke out of the bomb, so it's really fun without a super high risk factor. There's no rehearsal.
Well, what I always love about it and have loved about it, because I've seen it many times, I've actually been on stage and I think I won my night.
You probably did. You could have.
I think I did.
I'm sure you did. Yeah, that's exciting.
And it was exciting, but
it was a long time from the 99-cent store. The prices are never that exciting, but
right.
That's all right.
It's the status and being able to say you won it. But what I love, which you were just hitting upon, is that so many of the people you get, they do like a Saturday Night Live kind of Mad TV thing where they take the person, but they twist them just enough. And Tom Lenk did Heidi Klum.
Yes.
But his version of Heidi Klum, it literally brings me to tears of laughter, because it's just so beyond vapid and not dumb, just vapid and in her own world and space. And it's those moments that make it so in the moment and hilarious.
Tom Lank played Heidi Klum once for my birthday in the mid 2000s. I think it would have been like 2006, 2007, something like 2006 maybe. I had a Project Runway birthday theme party, and he played Heidi Klum, and I still remember him going, Nina Garcia, like super high pitched and just crazy line readings. And yeah, he's done Zooey Deschanel, he's done Margot Kidder, he does Heidi Klum. He just has the take on all of these people that is so unique and hilarious.
I had one moment, believe it or not, on your stage of something because Tom Lank came up to me before the show.
Right.
And he said he was going to sing. It was a Christmas show. He said, I'm going to sing this ridiculous song that I came up with. And he said, and I need an in. I want to do something about Seal, but I'm not sure what to do. Like, what could I say about Seal? And he wanted to be careful because he said, I don't want to come off like an asshole and I don't want to come off racist.
Right.
He's like, what's a funny joke? And I said, you know what's really funny that might work for you? And I said this to him, I said, is that you play her so vapid. What if she doesn't even know the songs that Seal sings? What if you said, oh my God, my husband, you all know my husband Seal's a singer and he's had so many great songs. I go, and then name 2 songs that he doesn't sing. Like I said right to him, I go, be like Thriller. Because everyone knows that's Michael Jackson. Like, That's not him. But his delivery on that, because he literally goes, oh, and you all know my husband Seal, he sings. Yes, he's had so many hits like I Believe I Can Fly and Thriller. And it's the way he says Thriller. And I sat in the audience going, oh my God. It was such a great thing. Here's the thing I want to ask you about this too.
Yes.
So many people get ideas, right? We get ideas in our head and we talk ourselves out of an idea. I know you do that. I'm sure you do that. I don't know you do that. I do it. It's who we are. What is it about this project? Because it almost seems effortless and it's the fun of it, maybe. But what is it about it that you didn't question it? Or maybe you did?
Well, the stakes were really low at the beginning. Like, I was just doing it as a birthday thing. And it was just really funny. And I think it didn't seem like that big of a risk, Like, what if nobody's expecting it to be, Hamilton.
Right.
Like, it's going to be sort of silly. And at the time we were doing it, there hadn't been that many things like that. Like, Drag Race hadn't started yet. And, but I do think I was listening back to, from my own podcast, Dennis Anyone. I'm going to include some excerpts from the last show as an episode coming up. And I was editing it and I was listening to it. I was thinking if I didn't host it, I think I would come to this show. And because it makes me laugh in a unique way. It's funny in a way that's very unique to itself. Because it's sort of stupid, but it's also sort of smart. And it has something to say about the current culture, so you can make jokes about what people are talking about. And it's also stupid. I'm not sure, but it's uniquely fun. It's unique in its something about the way those answers land. It's pretty special, and it's because of the panelists and the way they bring their sort of own twistedness to the show, and that they're all different, It's the weird combination of things. And there are so many pictures I look back over the years of photos that I have from it, and I'm just doubled over, or I'm on the ground. Sometimes I'm on the ground. Like, I'm just howling. And I think it's because it's a little irreverent. Like, we shouldn't be doing this. Like, there's something a little naughty about it. We're making fun of Madonna in this way, and what somebody said was so kind of cutting, but also kind of true in a way, and we know it, and we're laughing, but it's all a joke and it's all a game. It's brought so much joy to my life, and it's never felt like, ugh, I got to do that again. There's a lot that goes into it, a lot of preparing, and a lot of writing questions and prizes and like all of the production stuff, but it's always just been such a joy.
I think it's also the energy of the room, because I've been to it so many times. It's the audience too.
Oh yeah.
And the audience is
They're
like
so
the
into
audience
it.
into yes, and it's almost like they're even if you don't get up on the stage, you're participating with it
Yeah.
because you're sitting there thinking of your own answers, and then someone will say something that you never would have thought of, or someone will say exactly what you were thinking.
Yeah,
Which is
and
what is so great about a real game show.
yeah. And there are people that come back again and again that I only know them because they come to MisMatch Game. And I always see them sitting there and I'm like, "You're back. Look at you," and it's we've over the years we've sold out a handful of times, but most of the time you can score a ticket at the door. Like, it's never been a fancy thing. It's always been kind of cardboard sets that have been there, since the beginning. And I don't know. And there have been times where the center, for example, will have a big gala happening on the same night across town where everybody's in their tuxes and and we're, across town writing jokes about Nicole Kidman on cards. And like, it's just, I don't know. There's the sort of wisecracking kid in the back of the class vibe about it that I think is fun. We did it over Zoom during the pandemic, and it was fun. It kind of worked. It was weird to be in my house doing it, but it worked. I mailed everybody note cards and markers in the mail, and we made it work.
You definitely made it work. Look, you raised $200,000. When you hit the first 100,000, was your mind like?
Yeah, a little bit, but also it felt like at that time we'd been doing it quite a while.
Yeah.
So, and every weekend we make like 3,000 or 4,000. I don't know. It just we just keep doing it. It just rolls around, and for the center, it's pretty easy to put together because the set's still there, and I do most of the work. So it's not an elaborate workup for them. And oftentimes they'll see what other shows they have coming in, and they'll be like, "Hey, we have a weekend here. We can plug in MisMatch." So it's just been like this ongoing thing that's always just chugged along, I guess. Yeah. And we were having so much fun that we didn't really think about the good it was doing in terms of the money raised, but it feels great to think about that too.
Tell everybody about Dennis Anyone, the podcast.
Dennis Anyone is a podcast that I've been hosting since 2014. It's about making stuff up and making things happen. Making things up and making things happen. Where did I say making stuff up? It ruined my own tagline. Anyway, I love to talk to creative people about how they do their thing, how they keep it going. I like talking about resilience, and I think art, creativity, I think it makes life good. I mean, I think it makes it worth living. And so I like to celebrate people that are doing interesting things, filmmakers, writers, actors. We had a woman that created cartoons out of dead flies, real dead flies.
What?
And stuff like that. So that's my podcast. It's available wherever you get your podcasts, DennisAnyone.net. And the other fun thing that's related to game shows is I co-created a party game called You Don't Know My Life with my friend Jeb Havens. And it's a box party game, and we got it up online in 2019. But then when the pandemic hit, we started hosting virtual game nights, and that has become a full-on side hustle for me. I've been doing like team building events for corporations, hosting this game. And talk about games that leave you feeling good and connected to people. That's kind of what this has been for me. It's been so meaningful to host these games and meet people from all over the world and, help them connect and bring out fun stories about them. And it's wild. I just did 2 this morning for State Farm Insurance. So, it's cool. And you just learn that people are people. We have so much more in common than we do that separates us. The other day, I did a game for a big computer company, but they had 6 players. One was in Vienna, Paris, Singapore, Israel, Portugal, and Sydney, all playing at the same time. And I was hosting it at 6 a.m. in LA. Like, it was wild. but it's been really cool. So I guess the 70s game show thing has always been in my blood, in some way or another.
Before we wrap up with our final three questions, this is a question I usually ask my guests, and it goes back to what you just talked about. If you could go back to 13, 14-year-old Dennis, and you could talk to him, what would you say to him?
I would say, don't be so afraid about upsetting people. I think I had a invisible number one on my to-do list my whole life up until about 5 years ago, which was don't upset anyone. I felt like that was really important. It was almost like my operating system. And I have some theories as to why, related to my family dynamic and things like that. But I would acquiesce pretty easily. I think it served me in some ways, and then I think it quit serving me and became a problem. And I don't know if 13 or 14-year-old would make any sense of that. I think I might say something about that. I would also say something about creativity and say that part of yourself is the part to lean into. Although I was already sort of going along that path, like that. Those were the things that excited me and turned me on. But I would have said, yeah, keep doing that. That's it. I don't know. I look back and I'm kind of proud of like the things that I did when I was young, like trying out for musicals in college and stuff that I look back and I'm like, they were never going to give me that part, but I got in the chorus and that was exciting. And that paved the way. Like I don't look back and go, oh, I was so afraid I didn't try anything. I look back and go, I kind of tried. I'm pretty proud of that because I guess I didn't know. I think I I believed in myself even more than I had any right to, I guess. I don't know. When you're young, you're just like, I want to be in the show or I want to do the thing. Yeah. So I would say, the creativity is that's where it's at for you. And lean into that. That's all. Don't feel like, oh, you need to be more serious about something else or whatever. It's not going to be an easy road, but it's gonna be fulfilling, and it's what you're meant to be doing, I think.
We close these shows with three questions. Don't panic. You know the answers. Question number
I
one.
know. I did my
You've listened.
homework.
Oh, God. Okay,
Yeah.
Question number one, so easy. Where do people find you? Where do people follow you? How do people go to the MisMatch Game when it's mismatching time?
I say follow me on my website is DennisHensley.com. Also DennisAnyone.net. They go together. I have a Dennis Anyone Facebook page for my podcast. I'm also Dennis Hensley on Facebook, and there's a MisMatch Game Facebook page, and my Instagram is Dennis C. Hensley on Instagram. And I am on Twitter, but I don't tweet that much, but Hensley Dennis on Twitter. So, yeah. But, and if people want to learn about the game, they can go to youdon'tknowmylife.com. And you can learn all about it. And maybe we can book a virtual game night. I love to host people.
And can they buy this game as well and play it on their own?
Yeah, you can buy the game on Amazon. youdon'tknowmylife.com. Steve, I'll send you one. I'm going to get your address and send you a game.
Oh, thank you. That'd be great.
I would love that. Yeah, it's
I'd love
one of
it
my
too.
favorite things I've ever worked on. I'm really proud of it.
The next question, again, can go back to anything we've already talked about or anything you want to say.
Sure.
It's this. Who inspires you?
Well, I'm just thinking about this. This week, I'm really inspired by Lil Nas X. I'm kind of obsessed with Lil Nas X. Because I think he makes fun music and videos and all of that stuff, but the way he is being in the world around his sexuality, I think is so groundbreaking and it's so audacious, and his social media is so smart. Like, he knows how to bait people. Like, he's very wise. Like, I write for this podcast company for my main job, Wondery, and I did a project on Muhammad Ali a few years ago, and I became such a fan of his. He's somebody that inspires me too. But he was good at the thing that he did, boxing, but he was also really smart about media and human nature, and he had integrity, and he was wise and savvy. And I see that in Lil Nas X, the way he plays the media, the way his sense of humor, and the way he can kind of poke holes in the things that are full of shit in our culture. So I'm inspired by that. I love to watch what he's doing next, and I think he's really cute, and I love how sexy he is in his videos, and he still has these huge hits. And like I just, it's so inspiring as a gay person to see somebody being so unabashedly themselves and expressing their sexuality. Like, I mean, I remember for questions around different types of artists in my age group, like, do you come out? And if you come out, you have to be a certain kind of gay person, and you can't talk about sex, and you certainly can't depict, like, you had to try to not upset anybody, or you had to try to thread this needle, and you spent so much time thinking about that. And I just love watching Lil Nas X because he's like, nope, here it is. And look, I'm also number one, so deal with it. So I'm inspired by him. That's somebody that really inspires me.
And our final question is not even a question. It's just a simple answer to finish this statement. This is how we close the show. Tell me something good.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is before we started doing this, I got an email from my favorite hip hop dance teacher, Benji Allen, who's a good friend of mine. And since the pandemic, he hasn't been teaching as much. And he's going to have a pop-up class next Sunday. And I already sent my Venmo in. I'm going to be taking his class. It's something that brings me a lot of joy. And there's a lot of community there. And I love to dance. And it's just all feel-good vibes in that space and in that way. And I can rock it. I kind of rock it out. So I'm into that. For an older man, for a gentleman of a certain age. I think it's only a matter of time before I'm a J-Lo backup dancer. I think she needs some people in their mid to late 50s to be. We can still get loud. We can still get loud. So, my dream, Steve, is to be a chorus boy. Is it too late?
No,
it's not too late. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
I think. Didn't Estelle Getty hit her get the Golden Girls in her late 60s, and that was her biggest thing she ever got? So there's still time for you.
Is there still time to be a chorus boy though? The word boy throws me off. I think I'm pinging up against the word boy, but
a chorus boy of a certain age.
Chorus boy of a certain age. Yeah, maybe in Palm Springs they'll do some.
You are a youngin'.
Yeah.
You're a tween in Palm Springs.
Maybe that's it. But yeah, no. Something good is I love dancing, and there's a fun class coming up that I'm into. So I'm into it, and also being in the same room with people and dancing again is joyous. After all the Zoom yoga classes and everything, it's nice to be with people.
Thank you, Dennis, for sharing your good. Go get some good over at his podcast, Dennis Anyone. Grab his game, You Don't Know My Life. And if you're in LA, do not miss the MisMatch Game. I personally recommend it. Next time on World Gone Good.
Our diversity is our strength. And also, there has to be a point where we can question the people we elected.
She is Kate, or as she's better known, the girl with a microphone. It's like the girl with the golden tattoo, the cobra tattoo, the girl on a tree. You know what I'm saying? She's a girl with a microphone. This is her good journey that all started when she decided to disrupt the disruption with her own good voice. We are talking activism and accountability and knowing when to apologize and so many more good things that start with the letter A, and yeah, we'll throw in some other letters there too. I can't wait for you to hear it. Until then, be good.